Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Seeker Live podcast with my special guest today, Gabe Leal. And I'll bring Gabe on here in just a couple of minutes. Just a couple of reminders as you join us today. Please introduce yourself, where you're from, in the comments, and feel free to ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more engaging it is for us and everyone. So look forward to hearing from you. As background, just to let you know what we see as wisdom on Wisdom Seeker Live is it's a journey that we're all on, or hopefully we all choose to be on. And it starts with gaining knowledge, and with that knowledge, begin to apply it through understanding, and do that with experience. And then the third step in that process is to actually gain wisdom. And we gain wisdom by taking our knowledge and our understanding and begin to apply it outside of ourselves from a much bigger picture, and to see how it affects not only us, but the world around us, the people around us. And for those of us with a spiritual bent, the way we look at that is seeing things through God's eyes. So hope that you'll join in. Be sure and to make comments, ask questions. So without any further delay, let me bring on Gabe, and I'm going to. All right, Gabe, glad to have you.
Hey, what's going on? Appreciate the opportunity to come on and have a conversation. I do
Really glad
what
to
I
have
enjoy
us.
doing.
Glad to have you with us. So tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and then
Okay,
we'll kind of go from there.
cool. No worries. So I am uh, a LinkedIn live stream expert. A I've been doing this for the last 2.5 years. I also help individuals who want to get into live streaming. I do remote production. I also help people who want to also do it themselves. So I kind of help them strategize how to get started on their journey. I am a father of 4 kids. I have 4 dogs. I always have active background, and I
Yeah.
still do work a regular job. So I do a lot of things, but I do them very passionately, and I enjoy what I do. So people always ask me, how do you get so many things done? It's, well, when you love what you're doing, it's not a task. It's something that you actually get to do. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Now, as far as like what I enjoy in life, it's helping connect with others, helping others find their voices. I kind of help people bring the best of themselves out and share their experiences with people, because I think that's where a lot of value lies that most people don't realize is in telling of their own story,
Mm.
that it will connect with somebody. So I really push for that a lot.
Wow. Well, you definitely don't sound like you get an opportunity to get bored often.
Boredom is something that I haven't dealt with for a while.
Well, let me welcome Satish, one of our regulars. Glad to have you, Satish. And Buntavi, glad to have you from Thailand. Welcome
Ooh,
aboard.
all the way from
Be
Thailand.
sure and yeah, we have quite an audience. I realize that since you're a live stream expert, I hope that I do things right anyway on a basic level. I realized I may need to talk to you to improve my podcast. I have a
Well,
lot to learn.
here's the thing, that I kind of tell a lot of people in doing there. There's no right or wrong way. What there is like levels of skills that you might want to attain, but there's no right and wrong way in telling somebody what they're doing. Um, it's like telling somebody you're driving, or you're writing incorrectly, you're speaking incorrectly. Um, I also kind of tell people that, when you start doing something like this, remember it's about the journey. It's not
Mm,
about the rest of the technical stuff. The grand scheme of things doesn't matter what kind of microphone you have. So if somebody were to watch this video in a year from now, they're not going to worry about what I was using to kind of communicate with. What they're going to worry about is what I did communicate, what
yes.
came across. So that's what I teach people when I go to get them started. It's like anything else. So you, if you want to acquire the skills to do things more technically inclined, cool. I help you do that as well. Or if you just really want to just start from the beginning and get your message out there, I do that as well. I do both. So I kind of just want to help people, again, amplify their voice and get themselves out there, because it's life changing, not only for them on the journey, but for the other person on the other side listening to their story that might actually connect with them, and might be one of those things where it resonates very strongly with them because they're have similar journeys and similar paths.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, such a critical piece. I mean, that's our value as humans, is the ability to share a story of life and overcoming, and because there's somebody always out there that needs to hear that and needs to take hope from it. I think that's a big thing, is that when we can share about overcoming life situations, adversities, and things, there's someone that can benefit from hearing of that to give them hope to overcome as well. Um, so, welcome, Zaid. Glad to have you. Zaid's one of our regulars and on the show.
look,
And so uh, let's see, boy, so many different aspects to what you do. Now, I'm curious, what is it that you do vocationally? Your job?
okay, so what I do on my regular job, um, I'm a sales representative. I'm an outside sales representative for an electrical supply company.
Okay.
So I go out and I distribute electrical parts for whatever the client's looking for. So that's what I do during my regular hours. For now,
I
this
understand.
is this is going to be the transition into what I'm doing here, um, coming in the next year. Um, is making a transition into doing this full time. So that
Understood.
is,
Now, I have to
yeah.
ask, who's the company? Because one of my major clients is the Independent Electrical Contractors Association. So
Oh,
I live in that world. Who are you? Which one of the suppliers are you working with?
okay. So I actually work for a supply house called Pair Share Electrical,
Okay.
and what we do is like I said, we distribute it for both commercial and
Good.
residential. So we do handle both aspects of any kind of electrical supplies. So
Nice.
it's anywhere from having a small electrical panel put into your house to a multifaceted switch gear setup to run for full buildings. So we do
Yes.
it all.
Okay. Nice. Nice. So we got some common ground there, working with the electrical trade. So good deal.
Yes.
Um, so tell me, I was interested. I recently caught one of the no, you were live, caught you live, and you were talking about um
Oh,
your first show. And say, it's funny because I can so identify with that. It's real ironic that I am doing a weekly live stream now, because when LinkedIn first came out with video, I had to talk to myself for about 3 months to make my first video and put it out there, and I struggled so much with that. And finally, a friend of mine on LinkedIn said, "Just make a video. Quit trying to edit it. Quit trying to make it perfect." And just put it out there. So finally, one day, sitting in my car, I made about a 30-second video and put it out there. And I lived to tell about it. It didn't kill me like I
that's
thought it might.
yeah. That's the funny part, right? that we always hear about is that most people they they're hesitant to take that first opportunity simply because they fear fear judgment, number one, because they
Mm,
don't know what people are going to say, whether people are going to react to it. Um, I mean, they think to themselves, who's going to want to listen to what I have to say?
mm-hmm,
And that's not the case. That's why I shared my first video, because I wanted people to understand that no matter where you start the journey and how
mm-hmm,
people might look at me now, that's not what I was when I started. It was me taking just the opportunity to talk and start a journey and a continuing journey that has, first of all, that has led us here,
mm,
having a conversation. Two people taking the opportunities, first of all, to put themselves out there. Like you said, I was very much like you, talked for hours and hours on end by myself in my own vehicle while I was driving. Practiced, 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 just like anything else. And then you start learning that you do have a skill set in being able to have a first of all have a conversation or just talking in strictly solo as a monologue and being able
mm-hmm,
to kind of get that out there for people who, like, I don't know if I can interview people. Yes, you can. Um, if you've worked in any kind of virtual space, which we did in 2020,
mm-hmm,
you've had to be incorporated into Zoom meetings. You've probably had now like hybrid remote working.
mm-hmm.
So you've learned skill sets. You have a lot of the tools that you already need. It's just actually putting it out there. So I shared my video so that people understand this is not anywhere close to where I was from when I did this 2.5 years ago up until this point.
Mm,
You grow. It takes time to grow and develop into a particular style or
mm-hmm.
how you can actually feel like a way that was easier for you to start communicate doing this. So this is pretty important in telling people, take the opportunity to if you feel like you need that beforehand, to get a lot of practice in. You know what? I
Yep.
tell people, record videos.
Mm,
That way it makes you feel better if you feel like you want to go back and edit it and go back and say, I don't like this, I don't like that. And then once you feel comfortable,
mm-hmm.
take the jump. It's almost like a natural transition at some point. You just learn the technology, and the
Mm-hmm.
technologies now to use these sort of tools are pretty easy to kind of get the basic grasp of, that most people now know how to actually do it on their own. So,
Yeah.
just get started. And, and I'll tell you this, if you continue to do something like this, when you go back and you watch what you've done from your first point, like we've both done, and you get to this here now, you've realized how much you've actually grown
Mm-hmm.
as an individual. And you'll realize how much doing live video can actually change your life.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you become a conduit for other people, for other things, right? You've probably experienced this yourself, Kevin, that when you've done a show and it's actually connected with somebody, getting a message,
Mm-hmm.
and you go, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I needed this today, or you've inspired me, or you've motivated me. Those are
Mm-hmm.
the magical things that come from what we do here. So it's why I continue to do it every day, so that that other person who's listening, maybe on the other end, and takes a jump, will get to experience that. It's a
Mm.
wonderful feeling to know that you've helped somebody down their path.
Yeah, it really is. Satish makes a comment, so let's bring that on. Says, indeed, content is the king. At the same time, how you communicate is equally important, if not more. And in this area, you will agree that equipment too plays an important role. Of course,
Hmm.
it's good to have nice equipment. I chuckle at myself. I'll tell on myself that the first video I did, my studio lighting was flashlights carefully placed around me, and I really was amusing to consider. So yeah, equipment is helpful, can make a difference, but I
Look,
hope people won't use that as a reason not to.
not to.
And
So this
yeah,
right here, this is in your hand. If you have anything like this is a powerful tool.
yeah,
And a lot of the times, that's all you need to get started. That maybe a set of headphones that most people probably commonly have to get started. I was actually in a clubhouse room yesterday talking about this. I had a gentleman saying, I don't know if I should get started or should I get started? I don't have, should I invest in all this equipment? I have an iPhone 13. And we kind of talked him through it. And I'm like, look, what you have here is essentially what you need to get started to start recording and putting yourself out there.
yeah,
Works perfectly fine. There's so many apps and things you can use to like do captions. If you wanted to record video again, there's no excuse to not take the opportunity. If you're saying, I don't have the perfect setup, can I tell you something, folks? I don't have the perfect setup. Right? It may seem like it, but I don't have the perfect setup.
and there is no perfect setup. It's just us getting what we can and doing what the best we can with what we've got, right?
Yes, exactly. And
Let
that's,
me welcome Henry
oh,
from
Henry.
Uganda.
Wow.
Nice to have you, Henry. Appreciate you being a part. And
Yeah.
so, I noticed in watching your live that night that, and my sense is that faith might be a part of your what you do, who you are. Talk a little bit about that one, Gabe.
Yeah, definitely. Um, it's a big aspect in what I am as a excuse me, as a person. Um, because without it, I'm not sitting here. Um, I've there were at times during my journey where I questioned a lot of things in life, questioned things like faith, and realizing what it meant to me and how relying on me being able to believe has really impacted how I conduct myself. It gives me a lot of things every morning. Number one, the strength to get up and do this every single day. People
Mm,
ask, how do you continue to do that? It's through faith, man. Um, faith in what I believe, what things that He has in store for me, powers beyond my control,
mm,
that I know and trust that I'm doing the right thing. So without it, I'm not here. I don't have a lot of things in my life that I have. So I tell people a lot of times, rely on those things.
mm,
You those are the foundational building blocks of um, building you up as an individual,
mm.
right? And being able to say these are sort of the foundations of when people develop and talk about having core values and core beliefs is what it is.
Yeah.
And just be mindful of that. Somebody might not be at that point yet
Mm,
in their journeys, and they're still searching. But you know what? If they're seeking, guide them. That's why I like what your show is called. So you're seeking, guide them, give them the opportunity
yeah.
to find the beauty in what we do here as humans, because um, we are living all going to live a finite timeline,
Hmm.
and you got to understand to make the best of what you are while you're here. That's why I'm a big proponent of always talking about legacy
Mm,
and what you want to be remembered for. And that's where I tell people I always take those two things in part, because there will be a time, and there could be a time 100 years from now where they still talk about what you do,
hmm.
right? Um, so I really concentrate on being able to live that sort of lifestyle for me to help others um, become stronger.
Mm,
Um, so it's a big thing. Without it, like I said, I'm not here, and I don't. Um, I don't know where I'm at this point in my life without it.
Yeah, my faith is has kept me going so many times because things around me crumble and seem hopeless. But when I know that I can rely on my heavenly Father and hold tight to the fact that He loves me, sometimes that's the extent of any religion or faith or anything about that. It's just knowing that makes a big difference and keeps me going. Um, so, welcome, Wendy, from right here in Atlanta. Wendy is practically a neighbor. In fact, Wendy, maybe we need to get together and have coffee sometime since we're right here in good old Atlanta. But welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Remember, everyone, to feel free to offer questions, put them out there, and for myself or Gabe. And yeah, just open up to that. So, okay, Gabe, we're about seeking and gaining wisdom. So, share something in your mind that is some wisdom that
Hmm.
you've gained along the journey that you think, well, people, I want to let people know about this because there is real value in what I learned. So, share something that has really impacted you in that way.
I do, this is excuse me, Kevin, an easy one. I do
Okay.
it every day.
Okay.
The wisdom that I learn and seek and gain are by watching these shows and listening to people tell their stories because they're
Mm,
also sharing a wealth of knowledge. They're sharing their experiences. They're giving you education
mhm,
for free, teaching you, wanting to guide you. So if you're seeking something and you want to learn about it, there's people every day coming on here. So whether that is, hey, again, we're talking about here like faith. If I want to try to understand what faith is and what it means to me, okay, there's a show for that. If
mm,
you're wanting to learn how to kind of do sales prospecting, there's a show for that.
mm,
If you're, again, if you're wanting to learn how to work in trades like manufacturing, there's shows for that.
mm,
People are doing it every day, and they're giving you as an audience member, as a viewer, the opportunity to learn. And some of these conversations that I listen to, oh my God, you walk away going, I want to shout to everybody else, you need to watch this because there was an
mm.
incredible piece of value that you could find in here that
Yeah.
somebody might teach in educational classes and courses, and they're giving it to you right there and then, and giving you information to take away to kind of help um, you as a person, and develop um, in ways that you can't even imagine just by listening to a conversation.
Yeah.
Um, and this is where I tell people every day. This is why I push live stream and live video, because there is a value proponent to it that still a lot of people have not discovered.
Mm,
So every day I try to do this to unearth to everybody that see the amazing individuals that go out there every day and put themselves out there and bring this sort of um, presentation in front of your eyes so that you
mm,
can listen, learn, and get better. And I think that's what we all can kind of use in our lives every day. So I take them in at nauseum because um, I feel that, you know, I feel that most people can take away a big piece of information from every single conversation.
mm,
You take it in, and sometimes it can go in there subconsciously without you even knowing that it makes an impact. Like my buddy Damon here, he does a great job of um, doing his shows where he talks about people in the manufacturing workspace, what they do,
mhm.
and how they make an impact. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to listen because it affects us all. We don't know
Mhm,
it, but when you listen to the conversations, it affects us so much so, like even getting items that we usually use every day
mhm.
and in a manufacturing space, If they can't make it, they can't distribute it. We can't receive it.
Yeah, I
That's
hear
what
you.
I've learned from
Yeah.
watching what Damon does and what other people do every single day. So if you're so if it's wanting to learn about things like what we all seek sometimes, how to kind of elevate and transition our mindset
Okay.
every day. Every day somebody's out there helping instruct somebody, giving them tips, advice, guidance, information. This is the wisdom, guys. This
Mm,
is how we've learned. I mean, we learned this from the book.
mm,
We weren't actually there to hear Jesus talk about these
mm.
things, but it was through the experiences and the stories that you took from other people, correct, that have brought us to this point, and that yet still make an impact every single day.
So,
So this
wisdom nugget I'm hearing from you, Gabe, is learn something new every day.
every
That's
day,
fair. Yeah.
con- continue to continuously become a self learner. Um, and you might not think, like I said, there's other forms that you can do it through audiobooks, through
Hmm.
reading, through all the tools and the technology have made it so much easier for us to consume information. So we're living in a great time. Take advantage of it, man. It's just going to make you a better person.
Yeah.
So it is
Well,
awesome.
welcome, Sina and Damon and Sindhu and Suzette. And Suzette's one of our regulars. Zaid makes a good comment, and it goes to what you were talking about. Understanding and learning starts by listening. And, it's been interesting on my journey, especially with LinkedIn, that I've come to realize, if we had to pay for the resources on LinkedIn, it we couldn't afford it. And it, like you've kind of alluded to, is the level of not just knowledge. Okay, it's there. There's lots of knowledge, but because it's told by people that are living it and that have had to get there, not by just reading and passing a test. They've lived it. They've overcome. Hearing that helps us get some wisdom in the process, so that maybe we don't have to gain that wisdom the hard way. Sometimes we do. And I'm especially a poster child for learning things the hard way because I'm a little bit, um, as we say here in the South, I'm a little hard headed. So it takes a little extra sometimes. But, if I pay attention, um, it is an opportunity to learn and gain some wisdom beyond just knowledge, not, but how does this learning, how does this information um, apply, and how does it affect me and others? And that's where we gain wisdom in it. So um, let's see here, trying to keep up. Okay. And by the way, Suzette, which is identified on screen as LinkedIn user, she put her name in place uh, because
Yeah, it's fine. I lock all the doors and stuff. All the kiddos, they're leaving for school.
I understand. Anyway, for whatever reason, some of the folks here on the live stream show up as LinkedIn users. Suzette knows to put her name out there. So, and she's from St. Lucia.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we got a very international crowd.
I'm very blessed, Gabe. I really am. Who would have ever thought an old guy from South part of the United States would have the blessing of getting to engage with people from all over? I am truly, truly blessed. And
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Zaid likes to, he is a man of faith also, and he shares Romans 10:17. So then faith come by hearing, and hearing by the word of God, twice hearing, definitely. And
Hmm.
again, that's the beauty of um, that what we have here in front of us,
Hmm.
and the opportunity to not just be an observer, but to be a participant. Because one of the things that I keep telling people, and I guess I'll keep telling them till God takes me home anyway, is that
Mhm.
we each have a story, and our story is to be told to benefit others and to help us continue to grow and learn along the way. So definitely, uh, Senna enjoyed the background activity there. Senna keeps life from being boring and brings laugh to us.
It
That's
does.
right.
That's
Uh,
everything.
so okay, I've got to, since I am a live streamer, and I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. Now I'm doing better than when I started with that first
Of
video.
course.
So tell us some tips, because people, much like us, are going, wow, how do I do this?
Mhm.
And not completely embarrass myself or whatever. So give us some wisdom in regards to doing what you do and are so passionate about.
Of course. So for a lot of people who are just getting into doing live streaming and connecting, a lot of us have already been pushed into this space anyway due to the pandemic last year, and learning how to operate in a camera and learning how to hop into a Zoom call and learning how to do all these things that we think are so technical. Look, we do have all of us, each of us has the aptitude to kind of do what I'm doing. Um, it just takes, like I said, a little bit of time. Um, and it takes a lot of repetition. And a lot of it is just um, doing something like this, like what you do, what I do. It's putting the time and the commitment to it. Um, I think that's a big one for a lot of people is putting in the commitment and being consistent with what you do. Um, Now, the creative part, I think we're all creative.
Mm,
I think every single one of us can, and we all can develop our own style. We can share our own creativity out there with the world. What you're looking at on screen, I tell everybody, imagine is your palette.
mm,
You control the brush strokes. You kind of create something that you want to share. Um, and sometimes for a lot of folks, I just tell them the meaning and what you see and the beauty of it is what's important. And I think as long as you believe in that, others will see it as well. Um, and in getting into live streaming and doing live video and talking on a camera, I think all of us here know that we can actually start doing it because excuse me, because we have done it already, because they were using this this tool of video. We were using it last year to educate our children. If you had your children at home and
mm,
understood that, teachers had to learn how to adjust and pivot
mm,
into doing this. Businesses had to learn how to pivot and conduct operations virtually. So we all have the technical ability to go, I can get on camera and talk. It's all the small little ancillary things that we can do that can actually just make our presentation unique to who we are as individuals. So if it is like your message and wanting to teach people about faith, about wisdom, that is part of your creativity in what you want to put out into the world. And I think that each and every single person who even thinks about doing something like this is what it can actually do and make an impact. That's why I push people into doing it because here you are. You're sitting here somewhere in Georgia and
mm,
you're reaching people in Thailand, you're reaching people all over the world, and your message is getting out to them.
mm.
And that's where impact lies. And that's where in doing live video, I tell everybody to just take the opportunity to what write down, literally take a strategize a little bit before you hop on a camera and write down what you want to talk about, what you find interesting, because that's what's going to continue to push you as you go forward.
Mm,
Not what you think other people want to hear, what you want to share. Because if you're doing it for other people in that way, it's not going to be the same.
mm,
It's not going to come across the same thing. It's not like reading the news every
mm,
day and getting that out there. It is you getting what you shared, what you're passionate about, and then going out and finding other individuals who feel the same way. And that's how you build and grow an audience and a community around what you do. So I love that the fact that we as a society now are open to doing things virtually
mm,
because I mean, we will get back eventually being full in person, but now this being having video introduced into what we do, it expands the way that we can reach to other people.
mm-hmm,
A year ago, 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to reach out to Cena here, and you
mm-hmm,
wouldn't have been able to reach out to Zaid and all these other people here who come here and show up every Monday because they know Kevin's going to come on. We're going to have a great guest. We're going to have a great conversation. There's something I'm going to take from it. That's the power of it all. So,
mm,
my tip for you is to build out a strategy and then get started.
mm,
Take 10 minutes to write down again. So, if it's your passion is sports and soccer, for an example, write that down.
mm-hmm,
Write down what you want to talk about, whether it's your local team, whether it's about the sport in general, whatever that you think is vital to you as a fan, and you want to share it out there into the world, and somebody else somewhere is going to listen to that and go, my gosh, that is exactly the same way I feel. I want to connect
mm,
with this person. That's the whole beauty in this and all.
mm,
So you guys, um, all the other flashy stuff and things that you see when you come and watch what I do, that is again my passion, and that is my way to express me
mm,
virtually for you guys to see and connect with. So you don't. That's why I tell people, don't get intimidated by all that. That is just that person's individual style that they've developed. Doesn't make it any better or anything else. I've seen people that have all the flashy tools and don't have half the audience. Somebody who
mm,
just has a very strong positive message. And hey, you get out there, do two things for me. Get your story together. And this is a big one: promotion. If you're good at promoting it, you're going to get people to show up. It's not so much about the whole production and everything else. If you can promote something and get people to come and watch it, that's just as good as you having the best equipment. And actually more valuable than having the best equipment in the world. You can have everything that the professionals use and not have no one listening. Um, or you can have a really good promotion, get it together, and have an audience show up. So we all have the ability to do this, folks. So that's my tip for you.
mm,
Remember, we we all, everybody here is now getting the opportunity.
mm,
LinkedIn has opened up a lot of different opportunities for folks. You wake up one morning, you see a message that you have LinkedIn Live. Take the opportunity. Go
yeah,
out there. It's fun. It's a fun journey. You'll realize that.
yeah. Welcome, Karen, one of our regulars from Florida. Glad to have you here. And Richard, glad to see you again. And again, Zaid has a comment, and this is true. Um, and that is being agile in the small matters is important. Yeah, the willingness to learn from our own activity. The beauty is that nobody starts out expert, and the key is just jump out there. And one of the things that I kind of took away from your comment was speak to your passion. As I talk to people that about speaking in public or doing what they do from a work standpoint, is once you find your, again, my verbiage, if you will, is your design, passion, and purpose. Walk in that passion. If it's lined up with God's design for you, then you become virtually unstoppable because of that passion aligned with your who you're designed to be, and you're able to then move forward. The equipment's nice. Don't misunderstand me. It's nice to have, but again, when I started this whole thing, mine was my cell phone and flashlights
Right.
for to try to improve my look, which didn't help a whole lot. But that's another day, another discussion. But so passion, and then people, um,
Hmm.
because again, I like that you're talking about our creativity is not about necessarily the colors, the flash. It's about the uniqueness that we are. And just
Hmm.
by living that and being that, we are being creative because we are unique. And we can do things that only we can do in terms of message, in terms of appearance, all of that. And I really like that.
Well,
But go
and
ahead.
just one more thing, and anybody who feels like they want to commit to doing something like this and go to another level, um, reach out to somebody who you might feel is an expert like myself. Um, Believe me, it's incredible the amount of people who are willing to share their experiences with
Mm,
you and help you get started on your journey and kind of guide you as well. That's the reason I'm sitting here, is because of another gentleman who did the same thing for me. Um, I call him my mentor. His name is Russ Johns. He's been here
oh
on
yeah.
LinkedIn now for a very, very long time. And it was because of him giving the time and a little bit of wisdom and a little bit of knowledge to an unknown person at that point, is why I sit here now and do it for other people. And I just say, reach out to somebody. If you think somebody can help you, and most of the times uh, I've never had an experience where people say, no, I don't want to share what I'm good at with you. Who are you?
Yeah.
Um, you know, so reach out, man, and um, ask a few questions. It might pique your curiosity.
Hmm.
And it's amazing what's going to happen. People again are always willing to share, and that's the wonderful part about all of this. As long as we understand that you're not in it to do it for all the wrong reasons, and people will know that. But as long as you're willing to share, and you have a real genuine peak, people will listen. People do. It's amazing. My journey's been here, and I've been built up simply because of other people and their willingness and generosity to share. I mean, I have this background because of somebody's generosity.
Nice.
So
Well,
that's what can happen.
yeah. Karen makes a comment, fits well right here, says, we appreciate this platform. It's an opportunity to reach out globally. Yeah, at times I get frustrated with technology and LinkedIn, but I have to back up and remind myself just what an opportunity is there, and you can do so for free. And it's one of the few times that we something has value that doesn't necessarily cost us in dollars anyway. So
Right.
let's see. Suzette has a comment. She says, I actually appreciate the mixed mode of visual and face to face. Many positive shifts has occurred due to virtual mediums, and especially the release and sharing of information that
Ooh.
would have otherwise been available to persons or company with the financial capacity to travel to various conferences or
Ooh.
seminars.
Hey,
Playing
Kevin.
field a lot more leveled.
Hey, I'm gonna do you a solid, and I'm gonna help. This is how what I love to do. This is the magic of what I have fun doing. So, pull that comment up again.
Okay, sure.
All right, folks. You see how this comment looks? It's a very large but meaningful question that you want to get out there, or comment that you want to share with somebody, especially if you're a host. Now, very quickly, Kevin, if you go over to your brand tab
Um,
on your StreamYard, there should be a tab that says brand.
okay, I'm looking. Oh, I see that. Okay.
Okay, go up top.
Yeah.
You'll see comments there. You'll see where you can says theme.
Yeah.
You'll have one that says blocked, or it'll
Yeah.
say
Block,
rounded.
low, minimal.
Okay, click the minimal one.
Okay.
Now
Oh,
you see the difference of how I can still see the comment. I can still interact, and it's
it
still.
doesn't block out. Of
And
course,
watch
some would
this.
say it would be a blessing for me to block my face anyway. But anyway,
Well, watch if you turn off your banner. Like if you go to your banners tab and turn off the scroll, just click on it. See how
yeah.
perfectly that fits now. It makes it
Well,
aesthetically.
I have just learned something, folks. See, I knew that I would come away with something as part of this, since Gabe is a much more expert at this than I am. Um, and so I appreciate that, Gabe, and I am always loving to learn. Uh, so thank you for that.
Yeah, and that's the gross part about it. It keeps that comment still part of the conversation, and it's not so distracting, because I've seen them where it takes up almost the whole screen because somebody writes a huge comment, and it's really like the comment is really very well thought out and poignant, and it has to do with the conversation, and then when they pull it up in the screen, and it's like wow, and it
Yeah,
gasp and everybody disappears,
yeah. All
and
you
I go,
see is from about here up on the people in the.
yeah. So that's a learning. That's a
Thanks.
just again
I
a small tip.
appreciate that. See, I didn't know that I was going to be one of the ones to gain wisdom. But look at there, it can happen certainly.
Yes,
Um,
all of us.
let's see. Richard makes a comment. He says, it's become clear, at least to me, that screen time has not impacted emotion and in turn action. Uh,
Yes.
the value that, again, we can find there is helpful. Let's see. Wendy makes a comment. Trust, obey, and repeat. Kevin, it would be nice to have a meet and greet over coffee. There's nothing better than wisdom. Okay. So,
Yes.
Wendy, we'll have to take offline and get our schedules lined up, and let's do that sometime soon. I love to meet network connections in real time. It just takes things to such a nice level to grow professionally and learn from others. You know, that real face to face is very special.
Oh,
Zai
Cena has.
comments. Go
There
ahead.
you go. I was just looking at a comment that Cena made, that her latest comment. Um, she's interested in what software that we're talking about, what
Oh,
we use.
Suzette, is it sent?
Cena at the very, it should be also. She's asking what
Oh, down at
software.
the bottom. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll
she
get there in just a second. Let me.
minute. Okay.
Hey, I'm trying to catch up.
Okay.
So, yeah, I like your hashtag, Zaid. Hashtag passion purpose. Definitely.
Yes.
Let's see. Uh, Zaid's got to get going to work, so I
Okay.
appreciate that. And thanks for being here as always, Zaid. Let's see. Well, Richard says it's cool to see someone teach and someone learn. Hey, I'm here to show you, okay, that it's not true that an old dog can't learn new tricks. I just learned one, and I really appreciate it, because now I might start looking a little more like I know what I'm doing. Thanks for that, Gabe. Cena asks a question: what software are you using for going live here? The one that I've used all along, and it partly because I'm cheap, I guess, but is StreamYard, because it's when I got live stream LinkedIn Live, It was one of the ones that was offered, and it has a free component that gets you,
Mhm.
your basic need
Mhm.
and everything. And I have graduated to a paid component and not an expensive. I think now I pay $15 a month or
For the
something.
month, yeah,
Yeah,
fairly inexpensive.
yeah, and it's very user friendly.
Mhm.
I find it, and especially now that I know about the brand tab on the right that Gabe's taught me. So yeah, but do you know of others, Gabe? Since you're
Yeah.
the expert in this.
So there's plenty others. The two that always push people to go learn is StreamYard and Restream because they both very much like you explained have the free component to start, and it gives you the option, like you said, that in your journey, if you've reached that point where you want to mature into another um, different sort of uh, paid package, they offer you different tiers. Um, they offer you different features that you can get with each tier, and a lot of them have very good resources to also help you learn and also to deal with any kind of troubleshooting problems. They have really good customer service um, departments for anybody who has any kind of technical issues to reach out to. So those are the two that I push the most, and those are the ones that LinkedIn kind of uses their preferred partners
Okay.
in getting this. Now there's a few others that you can actually use, but those are the two that I push for the most because they have, like you talked about, Kevin, the easiest interface to kind of learn and interact when you get started. So you're not overwhelmed with the technical aspect of it. It's very easy to kind of learn and guide a little bit. So those are the ones that I kind of as well recommend to most people to get started. And again, fairly inexpensive. They both have freeze, and then they have again um, smaller to large professional packages that you can actually purchase. And it depends on what fits into your budget and what you're actually trying to do strategically. So I mean, think about it, you're paying $15 a month if you're doing 4 shows a week. I mean, 4 shows a month, like you're doing with every Monday. To break it down cost wise, I mean, it's actually costing you like $13 and something cent. There's at $3 and something.
Hmm.
Yeah, somewhere around there, um, for something and change to do each episode. So it's fairly inexpensive. And again, no contracts. You can quit at any time once your
Hmm.
service for the month is up. So if you're not satisfied or you think this is something you don't have to do, you don't have to do long term commitment. So it's a win win for anybody trying to just start out and do it. And it's a very very useful tool to get you down the path. So
Well, and nice thing again, I don't have a big fancy setup. I do have some front lighting, but it's not even specialized lighting. It's some in my office. But my primary tool here is a webcam that I purchased. It's got the microphone built in,
mhm.
and I have found it works very well. I've not had anybody complain. Now, it may just be they've been very nice and understanding, and it sounds horrible. I don't know, uh, but
Sounds good.
so yeah, it doesn't have to be elaborate. And in terms of um, uh, prep and all that, yeah, get a plan. But if you're talking from passion, okay, if you're really sharing from passion in your life, it'll come out.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to work at, and better for it to be natural than scripted, even. Uh,
hmm
Okay, so Gabe, we got a whole Senna to something here. He says that he's going to invite us to his first live. Okay,
Oh,
so
please
we'll have
do.
to make a note. Senna, we're watching. So when you go live, we're looking for an invite so we can.
And
Uh,
believe me, Senna, I'll know. So the moment you do, that's what I do as my profession, right? So those who don't know, I create a daily guide of LinkedIn live stream shows because I wanted people to understand the value in what we create. This is a free service. I don't get paid for this. I don't do this. I do this out of my own passion to do this. I create a daily guide. I highlight uh, any and all types of streamers who are putting themselves out there. So you can be the seasoned veteran who's been doing it on the regular. You can be the newbie who has no idea how to kind of get this started. But I'm still putting you out there in the community because this is what this is all about. The support and the love and everybody that shows up. And I think that's for people will understand why I'm so passionate about it. Is it because of the people that are in the community? That's for me, that's the gold. That's the good stuff. Is the individuals that are surrounding all of this. So, yeah, reach out to me. I also have a hashtag that I've built around. The hashtag is LinkedIn live streams. You can go there and follow the hashtag. You'll catch tons of other creators there, people doing their shows and sharing their messages as well. It's a great way to kind of learn about new people. Get out there and say, I've never met this person, but gosh, dog it, they're awesome, and I want to follow their content like Kevin here. So there you go.
Well, and that's actually how we got kind of connected. Is you were kind enough to feature me the first time, and I've really appreciated the what I see as ministry that you have to help people, and I really appreciate that. That is quite a lot of value, and it helps others be able to find content. And another tip, by the way, is that the value of hashtags, and then, being an older person, or as what did Richard say, a seasoned
dog.
I took me a while to kind of grab a hold of the value of hashtags, but the big thing is that when you follow hashtags, it helps you on LinkedIn, especially to see content related to the hashtags you're following. And it's also an easy way, if you click on those hashtags, to take you to content that is related to what you're interested in. It's another neat little tool that's out there. Santa, I suspect you will do great. He was concerned that he will freeze from stress. Yeah, I've been there, done that. And like I said, my first video, I made it and remade it so many times, it's not even funny. And even the one I ended up with, I still laugh about. And but that's okay. We all start somewhere. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to jump out there. So we got a couple of minutes left. Gabe, tell us about closing remarks, how to get a hold of you if people want to reach out.
Most definitely. So I strictly work in the area of being on LinkedIn. I also have do on the sides where I do like video coaching to kind of help people who want to get started, who might want to make the commitment and say, I want to take the time. So I have a business where that's what I do with individuals. I kind of help them sit and plan out a strategy. And then we do a build out of like conceptually what they want to do with their show, their presentation, and help them kind of guide them along the path of getting started here on live streaming. And, I also tell them, hey, you've met the right person if this is what you're trying to do, because not only that, I also have a way to kind of get yourself out there and help promote, so that if you want to feel like you need some community and support, it's already kind of built into what we do here. So if you see in the comments, I've added the hashtag of where I want people to go follow that hashtag, because it is a great place to use, connect, find resources, find different shows and topics, and go back and actually watch, like, say somebody came in and said, I can only watch the first 5 minutes of it, but I want to watch the whole conversation. Guess what? You go there, you use that hashtag. It will populate your video into the hashtag, and people can just go back there and watch the replays.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
Great tip to use.
Sindhu, I see your comment, and I'm sorry, I understand technology, but I will post a link out. I always when I finish a live stream, I post the link out, and I'll be sure and tag you to make sure you get to see that. And would love for you to go back and review, because you definitely can learn a lot of good tips from Gabe. And if you missed it, you get to see a teaching moment in action. So definitely. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate you joining us today. It's always an honor to have people participating. Gabe, I appreciate you coming on, taking your time, because obviously you've got a very busy life, and taking out and sharing time is very special, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And look forward to continuing to network with you and grow together, and share out as we do. So thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Gabe, any final greeting comment?
Just very briefly to promote something. I'm going to be on another live show this evening with a very good friend named James Kunkel, who does a very good job of sharing out other individuals as well. He produces other shows for other people who want to get out there and share their messages as well.
Okay.
Our vision's very much aligned. So we're going to be doing a review of 2021 tonight. That will be at 6:30 Eastern or 7:30 Eastern Standard Time this evening. So if you want to go check out, you can also follow me and subscribe to my daily newsletter. I do the daily newsletter. It puts all these shows out here every single day. I've almost developed it almost like a TV guide, so you can go there. It's very easy now. You can just click a link, like the link's in there. So if you see the title of it, it's highlighted in the newsletter. You can just click it and it takes you straight to the event. You don't have to do anything else, and it gives you the copy, the read of what there are. I share the promotion on there as well, because I love highlighting other people and putting their shows out there. So yes, go check it out. It's a great resource for anyone trying to follow and learn a lot of these people and their content.
And I'll let you know I've subscribed and I'm following the hashtag. So I believe it's a good idea too. So thanks, everyone. God bless. Have an amazing week. See you again on Monday. Actually, we're going to have another guest on Monday. So I'll be announcing that out, and look forward to having you join us. So take care, everyone. Have an amazing week.